Hey, this is Joe. This week's topic, I want to focus on two issues. The first is actually one issue, but it's broken up into two categories. Should you should you basically pay for expensive daycare services or become a stay-at-home parent? Those are the two things I want to discuss. Now, there's pros and cons to both of these, but I want your feedback. So I'm just going to lay out everything on the table and you tell me what you think. Now, first, let's go from the daycare expenses. Let's just say that it's a family of four, two kids under the age of 5 years old. So they're really not ready for school yet, but you may have to work and someone has to basically watch them. Daycare expenses in most urban cities can run you anywhere between, let's say, $700 and $1,000 per child. So it can run up to $2,000 for a family of four, two kids. Let's say you make $20 an hour. So that's a little bit over $3,000 that you would gross. Now you would probably net far less than that after taxes, but let's leave it at $2,800. So let's just say that both of you, the mother and father, make, let's just say $3,000 a month, and $2,000 of that will go to daycare expenses. Now, depending on where you live, if you really think about it, that is some people's mortgage. In a lot of cities, that's a mortgage. Um, that's actually a huge mortgage in small towns. That's like a semi mansion. Anyway, um, is it worth it to go ahead and fork out the money and go ahead and pay the $2,000 for the daycare, or should you say, you know what, one of us, let's not work, stay at home with the kids. You can do a self tutoring or self education program with your kids because they're under 5 years old, and typically you may be able to save a couple of $100. And that's really a wobbler if you look at it, because if you're not working, yeah, you're not paying the daycare expense, but you're also not making the $3,000 a month. So take that into consideration. Now, just let me throw out some pros and cons here as well. If you're not having your kids go to daycare at a younger age, you're kind of stunting their growth of education, of higher learning, basically. The earlier you get your child into some sort of educational program, the easier it is once they start getting into preschool, kindergarten, and so on. That's one pro to it. You also have a high chance of boosting their confidence, being able to interact with other kids, and learn. Not to discredit what you may be able to teach them, but let's just keep it on. Most daycares have these curriculums that they go through that teachers do have to have certain types of either associate degrees or credits towards their teaching. So let's just take that into consideration as well. Now, the stay at home mother or father, there's pros to that. You can save money. How much? It doesn't seem like a lot, but you can save. The other pro is that you get more time to spend with your kids while they're young, which a lot of people in tough times like now don't get to do. Let's look at a con now. The con is you don't get a lot of your time, me time, basically, because you're always there. And while the other spouse is working, he's really or she's really not always away from you and the kids, and it can eventually be a burden on your family. That's one negative to the stay-at-home parent. The other negative that I see is, it almost feels like that spouse who's doing that is going to do everything. They're going to be taking care of the kids. They're going to be cooking. They're going to be washing clothes. They're going to be cleaning the house. And that person who's working is going to feel like that's okay. Like, you should do that because you're not working. When in reality, parenting is a full-time job. So when you have to take on the parenting, the educational purposes of that, and the maid services of taking care of your family, it can actually be very tiring, and you can actually seek a different alternative. So one other thing I want to add in is both of you guys. Let's say if you were working and you decided to go to the daycare services, one of you guys has insurance and the other doesn't. So let's just throw that in too. Both jobs don't cover full coverage. So whichever job, if you're leaning towards the stay-at-home thing, just know that your family will be covered. So you don't have to throw in, well, both of us are going to work because uh, we don't have full coverage insurance, basically. So in the example, both jobs have insurance fully covered. So if one decides to quit, you're still covered as a family of four. So I would like to get your feedback on this. I would appreciate it. You can leave the comments below on YouTube. You can leave them on my Facebook. You can leave them on my page. And all comments are welcome. I just want to get anyone's opinion on this. Thank you. Have a good day.